hope you're all well. Today, you've already seen the title of this video, but today I am going to be doing my TBR for the Art Fantasy Bingo board for 2023. I'd never heard of this challenge before, but I have heard of it through Mel and Cassidy from Mel and Reads and Covers with Cassidy. So I'm really excited to give this one a go this time. It sounds really interesting, and the idea is for you to broaden your horizon, to step outside your comfort zone and read more fantasy, horror and sci-fi, and I'm really looking forward to it. The challenge seems really good. There are two modes for you to go for, so you can go for the general prompts, and then there is a hard mode as well, which makes the prompt just that little bit more harder. And I think in general I've gone for hard mode on most of them. It's not like either the normal mode or hard mode on them all. You can pick and choose which one. So I'm really looking forward to it. There are a couple of rules with it. You can't repeat an author. The only time you can do that, there is a short stories collection one, so it's the only time you can repeat the author. And you only get one reread for the year. As far as the TBR is concerned, you can reread the rest of the year, but as far as the TBR is concerned, you can only have one reread. You can swap one prompt out for last year's bingo board, but I'm happy with all of the prompts for this year. So I'm really looking forward to it. Without further ado, let's get into it. I am just going to show the bingo board here very quickly, and I do have my laptop to go through everything with you. So if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at, because I may be a professional, but my memory is shit. So also the irony of me wearing my mood reader sweater while telling you a TBR for something is classic. Classic Steph. Right. Okay, so the first prompt is for a title with a title. So this one says, read a book which the novel title contains a job title, military title of nobility such as locksmith, lieutenant or lord. This title can be something that is bestowed upon a character such as a hero, and can include fictional titles that are only in settings such as Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. I've already read Legendborn, it's fantastic by the way, would recommend. Hard mode, not a title of royalty. So for this one, I am going to go for The Daughter of Dr. Moreau by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Doctor is a title, and I'm really looking forward to this one. I haven't read Dr. Moreau itself, The Island of Dr. Moreau I think it's called, and I do want to read that before I pick this one up, but this has been on my radar for a hot minute now, and I'm really looking forward to getting to it. So I am looking forward to this one. It is a fantasy, comes a dreamy reimagining of The Island of Dr. Moreau set against the backdrop of 19th century Mexico. So really looking forward to that one. I don't want to go through the synopsis of all of these books because there's a lot on here, so we're just going to get through these as quickly as we can, otherwise we're going to be here all day. So next we have superheroes. Story focuses on superpowered individuals, you know, heroes and villains and capes. Hard mode, not related to DC or Marvel. I am a lover of DC and Marvel, but right now all of the things that I own that are DC and Marvel I've read, so even if I wanted to put one of them in here, I couldn't. So I am going to be doing hard mode for this one as well. That first one was also hard mode. And for this one, I'm going to be reading The Unforgettable Logan Foster Book 2 by Sean Peters. I read the first one. I got it in Owl Crate Junior. I don't yet have the second one, but I loved the first one. It was so good. Basically, Logan Foster has been adopted by these people, this couple. It turns out they're superheroes. And it's just a really cool concept for a book, and I really enjoyed it. It is middle grade, but I am very much so looking forward to the next one. So that's what I'm going to pick for that one, hard mode. Then we have bottom of the TBR. Read one of the books that's been on your TBR pile the longest. If you do not keep a TBR, read one of the books you've been meaning to read for the longest time but haven't yet. Hard mode, none. Actually finishing a book you've been putting off so long is already hard enough. Facts. So for this one, I am going for Bloody Rose by Nicholas Ames. I had a quick look on my Goodreads to see what was added to my Goodreads want to read list last, and it's this one. There's plenty on there, to be perfectly honest, but I'm not up to date with it, and I've just unhauled a massive bunch of books. So this is the last one. This is the second one in this series. Kings of the Wild was the first one, in which we follow a bunch of mercenaries that have come out of retirement to rescue Rose, who is the daughter of one of the mercenaries. So in this one, I think we're going to be following her, and I am looking forward to getting this one. God only knows why I've been putting it off. I am absolutely terrible at finishing series, especially duology. apologies. I don't know what's wrong with me, but this is why I have the final book support group. So I am looking forward to this one. So bloody rose for that one. So prompt number 4 is magical realism or literary fantasy. I don't tend to reach for magical realism too much. It's not really a genre that I like to go for. Read a book that portrays magic or unreal elements in an otherwise realistic or mundane environment. These books are often found on literary fiction shelves and book lists, and not always shelved as genre fiction. It's a hard square to pin down, as what makes something literary or magical can often come down to vibes, so just use your best judgment. Hard mode, not one of the 30 books in the linked thread. So I went through the linked thread, and the book that I did pick ended up being Ocean at the bottom of, sorry, The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. This wasn't on that list. This is the illustrated version, so it's got some gorgeous, like, well, that's just a almost black page, but it's got some illustrations in it, and I've been meaning to get to this one for a while. I don't know much about this at all, so I am looking forward to this one. If you've read it, let me know. I am intrigued. Next we have YA, read a book that was written for young adults, hard mode, published in the last 5 years. So I am going to go for Godslayers by Zoe Hannah Mikuta. This is the second in the series to the Gearbreakers series, and it is a duology. Again, another one that I've been putting off. Not for too long though, because this did come out in last year. So hard mode on this one. This is a sci-fi series in which our main character is trying to infiltrate the Gearbreakers so that she can take them down from the inside out, and it's really, really good. It is queer, if I remember correctly. And I really did enjoy the first one a lot more than I thought I was going to do, so I'm very excited to get to this one. Then on the second row, first square, we've got mundane jobs. The protagonist has a commonplace job that can be found in the real world, so no princes or monster hunters. We are also excluding soldiers, as they're already extremely prominent in SFF. Hard mode does not take place on Earth. Okay, so I don't know if this is hard mode or not until I read it. So right now I've got this down as not for hard mode, but I have picked A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking by T. Kingfisher. Baking is a mundane job, you know. So I am, again, really looking forward to this one. I have heard mixed things. I know that Jade wasn't a massive fan of this one, but I know that other people have been. I am hoping that this is going to be like super cozy and give me the vibes that both The House in the Cerulean Sea and Legends and Lattes gave me. Fingers crossed, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. But yeah, if you have read this one, can you let me know if it's set on Earth or not? The hard mode is that it does not take place on Earth, so I would like to know the answer to that question. Obviously I'll find out when I pick it up, but it would be nice to know in advance so I know whether or not I'm doing hard mode. Next we have published in the noughties. Read a book that was published between 2000 and 2009. Hard mode, not on the top 30 of our Fantasy's best of 2023 list. So for this one I did go through the list, and I did end up picking Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. By Brandon Sanderson. This was published in 2009, so right at the back end of that window that we've got. It was published in the middle of 2009, and it was on the list, but it was after 30. I think it was around like 33, 34, 35. So it counts because it was not in the top 30. And I am looking forward to continuing on with Brandon Sanderson's fantasy series now that I have finally completed Mistborn Era 2, except for the Lost Metal, which I'm going to come back to when I finish the Stormlight Archives, I think. So I'm looking forward to this one. Warbreaker is the story of two sisters who happen to be princesses. The God King, one of them, has to marry a lesser god, and an immortal trying to undo the mistakes he made hundreds of years ago. Excited. Next we have Angels and Demons. A book must have angels and demons in it. On hard mode, the main character is an angel or a demon. So I've gone for A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Hawley. The main character is a witch, but the second main character is a demon. So for me, I would say this counts for hard mode. So it says on the back, whimsically sexy, charmingly romantic and magically hilarious. This book put a spell on me. That's from Ali Hazelwood. So I am really looking forward to this one. Very, very excited for this one. 5-star prediction. Can't wait to pick it up. So next we do have 5 SFF short stories. Any SFF short story, as long as there are 5 of them. Hard mode, read an entire SFF anthology or collection. For this one, I am going to go for Queer Little Nightmares, which I have an audio arc of from NetGalley. So I have seen this about. I've wanted to pick it up a couple of times when I've gone to the bookstore and then just put it back down because I wasn't 100% sure. Then the audiobook came in from NetGalley and I was like, you know what, let's give it a bash. This is a great one to go to. So I believe that this is a collection. It is an anthology. It's a collection of short stories that are horror fantasy-esque, and they are queer. Obviously, Queer Little Nightmares. So I'm really looking forward to picking this one up. I have seen a couple of people reading it and have enjoyed it, so I'm excited about this one. Don't usually go for anthologies, but I'm excited for it. And then finally on this row we have Read a Horror. Hard mode, not Stephen King or H.P. Lovecraft, which is easy for me because I don't have Stephen King on my shelves anymore. I have read a couple of his, but I don't have much on his shelves anymore, and I've never read anything from by H.P. Lovecraft either. So I could have picked a range of stuff for this, and my horror collection is getting really big and I'm really excited about it. I could have picked a range of stuff, but I'm actually going to go for one of the books that's on my 12 books from 12 friends. I think it was either Mel or Cassidy that put this one on here, but it is Gallows Hill by Darcy Coates. They've been recommending me this one for a while now, so I'm really looking forward to this one. I don't know if it's going to be like a haunted house story, I'm not 100% sure, but I am looking forward to this one. And obviously it's not Stephen King or H.P. Lovecraft, so I do get hard mode for this one as well. Okay, the first prompt on the third row is self-published or indie publisher. Self-published or published through a small indie publisher. If the novel has been picked up by a publisher, it only counts as challenge if you read it when it's still self-published. Hard mode, self-published and has fewer than 100 ratings on Goodreads, or an indie publisher that has done an AMA with our fantasy. Now, I'm not sure what AMA with our fantasy is. I'm going to have to look into this a little bit. But I have picked a book for it. Whether or not it counts for hard mode, I don't know. I'm not too bothered either way. But I'm going for Touch of Light by Thiago Abdallah. I have heard great things about this one from Mel, Cass, Kaylee. I'm sure Lexi's read it as well. I'm not sure. I'm sure that group in general have read this one and they've really loved it. And I know a lot of people have been reading it for Realmathon. So I'm really looking forward to picking this one up. It is indie published, and the second one looks really great. I think this is following, I don't know generally who it's following, but it's including Griffins, and I am so here for that. So I'm very excited to pick this one up indeed. Then we have Set in the Middle East / Middle Eastern SFF. Read a book that is set in the Middle East or is an analogous setting that is based on real-world Middle Eastern settings, myths and culture. Example novels would include the Daevabad trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty, The Candle and the Flame by Nafiz Azad. Hard mode, author is of Middle Eastern heritage. Now, I have read the Daevabad trilogy and I've got S.A. Chakraborty in here elsewhere with another book, so I couldn't pick. I was thinking of picking The River of Silver, which is again an anthology, but I've got her elsewhere, so I can't pick that one. So I have decided to have a quick look at the website itself. They do have recommendations for each of the books. They've also got a story graph as well where other people have been recommending books, and one of the recommendations is a graphic novel that's been on my TBR for a hot minute now, and that is Squire. But this one is a sweeping gorgeous tale of tenacity and friendship. Squire makes you want to fight for a better world. So I'm looking forward to this one. I think it's following a young girl that ends up like joining a military school or something. It reminds me of the Poppy War, but obviously in graphic novel format. She wants to be a knight, and I'm really looking forward to it. So sounds good, really interested in this one. Next we have a book published in 2023 for hard mode. It's also a debut novel, as in it's the author's first published novel, and for this one I'm going to go for God Killer by Hannah Kaner. This is Hannah's first book and I am intrigued about this. This is the Fairy Loot edition. It's absolutely beautiful, and I don't know what this is about too much, but I know Jade's read this one and she did enjoy it. She thought it was good. I think Kissin is going to be she's a god killer. until she finds a god she cannot kill. Skedi is a god of white lies, has somehow bound himself to a young noble, and they are both on the run from an unknown assassin. So I don't know if they're going to end up teaming up for whatever reason, but yeah, really intrigued by this one. It sounds great, not too long as well, which is always a bonus. Okay, next we've got Multiverse and Alternate Realities. Read a book in which the setting contains at least 2 universes, dimensions, planes, realities, etc. That characters within the book can travel between multiple worlds in the same physical plane of existence, such as planets with a universe, would not count for this square. Hard mode, characters do not walk through a literal door in order to get to another world. So one of the perfect ones for this one would be like the Wayward Children series. However, that is walking through a door, so you wouldn't get hard mode for it, but it's a perfect book for this prompt. But I am going to go for Strange Worlds Travel Agency by L.D. Lipinski. They don't walk through doors, they walk through suitcases. So I'm counting hard mode for this one. This is following a young girl called Flick Hudson, who finds herself at the Strange Worlds Travel Agency, in which each suitcase transports you to a different world. So it is portal magic, but it's through a suitcase, not a door, and I'm really looking forward to this one. It is middle grade, so very excited to pick this one up. I do have the rest in the series as well. If I enjoy it that much, I can continue on straight away. And the final square for this line is POC author. Author must be a person of colour. Hard mode, novel takes place in a futuristic sci-fi world. Note, this is now a recurring yearly square, but the hard mode will be changing every year to keep it exciting. I don't think I've picked one that will count for hard mode for this one, but I have gone for The Book Eaters by Sunyi Dean. I am really looking forward to this one. It is currently one of my buddy reads with my patrons as well, so I am excited about this one. Hidden across England and Scotland live 6 old book-eater families. So it's a story of escape, a mother's savage devotion, and a queer love that will electrify readers looking for something beguiling, thrilling, strange, and new. I have read the first chapter of this one and I was very intrigued, so I'm really looking forward to picking this one up. Again, this is the Fairy special. Oh no, it's not. It's the Illumicrate special edition. I do apologise. Illumicrate special edition. I can't keep up with them. I don't know what to tell you. So the first square on line 4 is a book club or read-along book. Any past or active R Fantasy book club counts, as well as past or active R Fantasy read-alongs. So they have a full list of the read-alongs that they've done, and you can pick from any of them. Hard mode, must read a current selection of either a book club or read-along and participate in the discussion. I'm not going to do the hard mode on this one, but I did have a look through all of their books to see what was on there. There's a lot that I've read, which is great. A Witch's Guide to Fate Dating a Demon was on there, and I was going to pick that for this one, but I ended up moving it around a little bit, and I did use this one for my reread. I'm going to reread Traitor's Blade by Sebastian de Castell. I've been wanting to reread this since the day I read it, so I'm really looking forward to picking this one up. This does follow a band of mercenaries, if you like. They used to work for the king and they no longer do since he died, and we follow these 3 guys, and it's just absolutely brilliant. They find themselves in so much shit and it's just absolutely fantastic. Hilarious, dark, really brutal and bloody and gory. Night Shadow is my favourite in the series, the second one, and it's absolutely fantastic. Would recommend. But yeah, really excited to give this one a reread. Cannot wait. Next we have a novella. Read a work of fiction between 17,500 and 40,000 words. Hard mode novella is not published by Tor.com Publishing. So I'm not checked the word count on this, but it is a novella, and I've gone for Hex by Jenny Fagan. This one is published by Polygon, who are themselves, so it's not Tor.com, and this one is following a witch, I believe. It's the last night of her life in a prison cell several floors below Edinburgh's High Street. Convicted witch receives a mysterious visitor, Iris, who says she comes from the future where women are still persecuted for who they are and what they believe. And I think it's just going to be a really interesting story about how not much has changed over the years for women, and we're still being accused of things all of the time, despite the fact that it's probably not true. So yeah, really looking forward to this one. I'm gonna have to check the page count on it and hope that it counts, but I think it will. Next we have mythical beasts. Read a book that prominently features at least one mythical beast, meaning a creature that doesn't exist in reality. Hard mode, no dragons or dragon-like creatures, e.g. wyverns, Dracus in King Killer. So I have gone for Into the Drowning Deep by Myra Grant. I believe that this has got killer mermaids in it. That's all I know about it, I'm not gonna lie. I think a film documentary crew goes to a ship in the ocean, like a, you know, sunken ship in the ocean, and it starts getting very, very terrifying. So I'm really looking forward to this one. This is the other one that was picked by either Cassidy or Mel for my 12 books from 12 friends. So I can't remember which one picked which. I think Cass picked this one and Mel picked the Darcy Coates one, but either way, they're interchangeable. Both of them have recommended both to me. So next we do have elemental magic. Read a book that has elemental magic. The primary magic within the world deals with classic elements, earth, wind, air, water and fire. Hard mode, not the Schwab Shades of Magic series or Jim Butcher's Codex Alera series. I have read the first in Shades of Magic, but I haven't continued on with it. But for this one, I am going to go for my guilty pleasure. I'm going to go with Zodiac Academy. This is book 3, The Reckoning. Yep, just checking, by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valente, and I absolutely love this series. It does have elemental magic in it. It's also got a bunch of magical creatures in it too, but that does include dragons, so I didn't pick it for that one. I wanted to pick it for elemental magic instead, but very excited to continue on with this series. I'm absolutely loving it so far, having a great time. And then the final one on this line is myths and retellings. Read a book that is based on a myth or pre-existing story. Hard mode, not Greek or Roman. So for this one, I am going for The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. I think this is steeped in Chinese mythology and I'm really looking forward to it. It's been on my TBR for a while. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea is a magical feminist retelling of classic Korean legend, perfect for fans of Uprooted and Miyazaka's Spirited Away. Sorry, my apologies, not Chinese, Korean mythology. So really looking forward to this one. Again, special edition, Fairy Loot. I've got it right this time before I said it. Okay, then the first one on the 5th row along, we have Queer Norm Setting, a book set in a world where queerness is normalised, accepted and prevalent within communities. Characters are not othered, ostracised or particularly remarkable in any way for their queerness. Hard mode, not a futuristic setting, takes place in a time akin to ours, in the past or in a fantasy world that has no science fiction element. So for this one, I have picked a sci-fi, so I'm not doing hard mode for this one, and I have gone to Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. I had to do quite a bit of googling on this one, and luckily again they have recommendations, which is great news, so I'm really looking forward to this one. I have loved the Robot and Monk series by Becky Chambers, which also would be perfect for this prompt, but I've read it both of them and I loved it. I did DNF Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, so I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this one, but on the basis that I loved the Robot and Monk, I don't mind a solely character-based book so long as it's short. I can't stand long character-only books. I need there to be some plot. So if it's like a slice of life type book like the Robot and Monk series or the Murderbot Diaries, for example, it needs to be short. Otherwise I'm not going to enjoy it. In the future, instead of terraforming planets to sustain human life, explorers of the galaxy terraform themselves. I don't know anything else other than that, but I'm very intrigued about this one, so hopefully I will enjoy it. It's short, so either way I'm going to read it. Whether or not I enjoy it is another matter. Then we do have coastal or island setting. Story features a major setting that is near or surrounded by the sea. Hard mode, the book also features seafaring. So I am going for The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty. This is her adult, I'm sure it's adult, book, and it is the gorgeous Fairy Loot edition. So I'm really excited to give this one a read, and I believe that it's set in the same world as the Daevabad trilogy, but it is set at sea, so there is seafaring in here, and I'm super hyped for it. A pirate of infamy and one of the most storied and scandalous captains to ever sail the seven seas. I'm so excited for this one, and this map in here is just absolutely stunning. So really looking forward to this one, and it will get me the hard mode as well for for it, so yay for that one. Then we have Druids. I really struggled with this one because I didn't really know what it meant, I'm not gonna lie. A book that heavily features druids. This can be a classic druid, a priest, or a magician in Celtic lore, or a magic user whose powers stem from nature. Hard mode, not the Iron Druid Chronicles by Kevin Hearn. So I am going for hard mode, and I am going to go for In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. Again, had to do quite a bit of research on this one, and this was one of the ones that caught my eye, so I did decide to pick this one up. Don't know anything about it so far, but I am really looking forward to it, very much so anticipating it. I think it's coming in the subscription box at some point, but I also have it pre-ordered, so very, very hyped for this one. Then a book featuring robots. Read a book that features robots, androids, clockwork machines, or automatons. Hard mode, robot is the protagonist, and I've got the perfect book for this one, and I'm really excited. We've got Rogue Protocol by Martha Wells, which is book 3 in the Murderbot Diaries. This follows a robot. The main character is a robot, and it's basically, again, slice of life following this murderbot who is kind of not in retirement, but he's not so much murderbotting anymore. And he's been tasked with kind of looking after this scientist, I think, if I remember correctly. And we're just kind of following it during its life. I love the line in this: sci-fi's favourite antisocial AI is back on a mission. I love this series. I have a great time with it, so very excited to get back into it. And then last but by no means least, sequel. Read a book that is a sequel to another SFF book. Hard mode, book 3 or more in the series. So for this one, I'm going to go for Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. I love this series. I am currently on Jade War, so I will be picking that up in May, hopefully, and then reading this one in June. But this is the 3rd and final book in this series, so I will get it for hard mode because it is book 3. This is the gorgeous Fairy Loot edition, and I'm obsessed. This one is a fantasy series in which we do follow kind of like warring families, a little bit like the Mob, if you like, but the magical element in here is that they can ingest jade and it gives them powers, and it's I just love it. It's fantastic. I really enjoy the politics of it, the war side of it, the magical side of it. It's just got everything you want from a fantasy and more, and I really enjoy it. So very excited to continue on with this series and finally finish it off. This book is absolutely humongous, over 700 pages. It looks so much bigger than that, but yeah, very excited to hopefully finish the series out this year. I will do. I'll do it. I promise. I will do it. So yeah, that is everything that is on my Our Fantasy TBR. It took me a hot minute to build this TBR up, I'm not gonna lie. The bingo board came out on the 1st of April and it is currently the 17th when I'm filming this. So it's taken me a while to get my TBR together. Also, I didn't even know about it on the 1st of April, so it's only since it's been mentioned by Mel, Cass and Kaylee's that I've ended up picking up on it. So I'm really excited, hoping that it'll help me get through these books. I don't know why I'm continuing to do this to myself, because this is like the 3rd or 4th TBR that I've set up for the year. But we'll see how it goes. Luckily, quite a few of these books kind of cross over with my 12 books from 12 friends, or top 11 priority for my 23 books in 2023. So hopefully that will help me out a little bit. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Chat to me in the comments down below. If you have any other recommendations for any of these prompts, will you also please leave them in the comments down below, because if anybody comes on this video and wants some ideas about some of the other prompts, if they want to decide that they want to take part and have some ideas about some of the prompts, at least they can have a look and see some other recommendations. Similarly to that, if I decide to swap anything out, I can have a look in the description box myself and see if there's any other recommendations. This bingo board does run from April 1st, I think, right up to March 31st. I'm sure it's like a year long, that sense. So there will be a new one for 2024 on April 1st, 2024. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited. I've never heard of this before, and I feel like it's really going to help me, first of all, get through quite a few books on my TBR. I really wanted to make sure I was picking books up that are on my TBR. I think there's only a couple that are like pre-orders that are coming through, like In the Lives of Puppets and The Unforgettable Logan Foster 2, and then one that I haven't heard of before that I'm excited to pick up, which is the self-pub indie published one. So Very excited. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Chat to me in the comments down below and I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.